Okay. Hey, all you possum pet people. I'm coming at you live from OP and the Big D. That's Odyssey Pets in Dallas, Texas. I'm Sherry. I'm one of the owners here. And we do grooming, boarding, daycare, and aquarium service, as well as holistic pet supplies and aquariums. This is our Wassup with Supplements month. And supplements are an overlooked category, I feel like, in the pet industry. So I really wanted to highlight some of our favorite supplements. We have a lot of them on sale. And today I'm here with Tammy from Supersnouts.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Thank you for joining us, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. Happy to be here talking about new stuff, new supplements.
And Ollie's watching. Hey, Ollie, how are you doing? Rich with Open Farms watching.
Oh, hi, Rich.
Yes, we're going to talk about supplements. Why? Well, hold on. Before we get into why supplements, let's talk about Supersnouts and why Supersnouts is so cool.
Yeah, so Supersnouts, obviously, as I talked to my previous video, Supersnouts Hemp, Christy and Don are the owners, and Christy was a store owner for 25 years, and she realized that there was just so many things that people were coming in for and looking for, and really, as a company, we're going to talk about our very first product that she ever launched today, which is Firm Up. And she kept saying that she had people coming into the store and she would send them down the street for a can of pumpkin. And then they'd use half the can and throw the rest away. And so she's like, I'm going to make something so that a pet owner can have something on hand. And that's really how the company started, was that the one item was Firm Up. And since then, really gotten into different supplementation. Their dog Abel, as I spoke before, is, in the midst of prostate cancer, surviving 15 months with prostate cancer. And some of the things we're going to talk about today are standard everyday supplements in his life. So I have known them for a long time in the industry, and so fortunate and grateful to work with them and their amazing products. So
and they sourced everything like human grade, right?
Yeah, like when we talk about like our super shrooms, those are all certified organic. The only reason we don't have that on our label, like the logo that everybody recognizes, is because the facility that we have them processed in or packaged in is our facility, and we're not organic. So, but yes, everything is like a nutraceutical grade that we're putting into every single thing that we have going on here. So like the joint power is amazing, where we're sourcing those from, like a nutraceutical, and the process. So everything that they've chosen, the supplements that they've chosen to come out with, is really things that pet owners have, in her time in the stores, has identified as a need. And, how can we help that pet owner with that need? And before we get into talking about things, most consumers come in and they're looking, when you look at a supplement, everything that we're going to talk about today, you want to make sure that you're consulting your vet, your veterinarian, if you have, a great holistic vet that you're talking to about supplementing. So you just want to make sure that, when you go in, you're including these supplements that you're adding into their diet, for sure.
Right on.
Yep.
So this brings me into the question of why should we supplement?
Yeah,
I mean, isn't everything in the food kind of thing?
Right. Well, you and I both know everything's not in the food, right? So,
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have the financial to feed a raw diet, which we in the industry, we know is the best way to feed your pet. Freeze dried is very expensive. And so a lot of pet owners feed kibble, and there's nothing bad about kibble. It's just, it's processed. And so adding some of that supplementation back in from different sources is really going to help stimulate and enhance your pet's health and well-being. And each one of these that we'll talk about today has specific things. Urinary Berry is doing things with the urinary tract that has really nothing to do with food. So, some of it is just what your pet is lacking from day to day, and what you can add back in to give them the best quality life.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can go ahead and talk about the certain products that you guys have. You want to do GI Balance?
Can I start with Firm Up first?
Sure. I don't have it with
that.
me, but yeah, we sell a ton of Firm Up. Yes.
Okay, so I know you don't have a cute little green slide, but I want to talk about Firm Up. So
Okay.
This is the product that I was referring to previously. Gosh, I'm so bad at this, and I've done enough of these. You'd think I would get better at holding the product. So what this is, everybody, we have 3 different sizes of this, and I'm holding up the 1 ounce package, and this is just 100% dried pumpkin, and it is packaged, manufactured, made, grown in the USA. But what it is it's great. So if your dog has any kind of, we all know that pumpkin can help with, if your dog is suffering from constipation or like loose stool diarrhea. So pumpkin's great for either one of those things that might be happening. And so this is a really, I've given this to every single friend I have. I'm like, and my parents, I'm like, listen, you need to have this in your cupboard. Because what it is you're just adding water back into it. So instead of wasting a can of pumpkin, you can just keep the Firm Up right in your cupboard, and you can have that when your dog is having kind of digestive issues. So I
have one in my pantry.
Yeah, it's so great. Well, like once you try it, like with your pet and you see like, okay, this is so handy, you'll never not have this in your pantry. That is 100% for sure. That comes in 3 different sizes. This 1 ounce package actually makes a can of pumpkin. So when you're at the store, you're like, this doesn't feel like much, but when you actually rehydrate it, it'll make the equivalent of a can of pumpkin. We also have one where we've added cranberry to the pumpkin. So really just helpful with that urinary health. So there's those kind of 2 different forms, but the favorite is just the Firm Up with pumpkin. So that's a great resource. And different sizes, obviously, like the 4 ounce, it makes, I think, 3 cans of pumpkin. So, and then we have a giant one. So if you had like a rescue or you were donating, that one makes, I think, 12 cans. So the really big one makes a ton of pumpkin.
My parents have 4 dogs, and they use it in their dog's food every day because their dogs have digestive issues anyway. They're older. Yeah. So he buys the giant bag. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like some people just like, they're going to go through that giant bag. So, so that's really great. The Firm Up is a fantastic thing just to keep in your cupboard. If your dog gets into something, they eat something, they're having some kind of digestive distress. It's fantastic for them, just to keep, and you don't have to throw it away. You can open it and seal it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's great for diarrhea or constipation. So it goes both ways.
Yeah, it goes both ways. That great source of fiber in there.
All right. So GI Balance is very similar, right?
Yeah. So GI Balance, we'll show you the canister here. So GI Balance has pumpkin. It has apple fiber as well. So pumpkin, great source of fiber, right? Apple fiber is really great for it's kind of what we consider that fiber is like the broom of the lower intestine. So it's really helpful, excellent source of fiber. In addition, so the nickname for this product is the fart killer, by the way, for any of your customers. If they have gassy dogs, this is considered the fart killer.
That's awesome. That's what y'all should have called it.
I know. Christy probably would have if she would have realized people started nicknaming it that. She has a great sense of humor. So in there is this Egyptian fennel seed. So that's great for that kind of distress in the stomach. It's great for digestion. They use it a lot for like an anti-flagellant, right? Like, gas. And so that one is fantastic. And that's why it's so helpful with if you have a gassy pet. So like I have a box, well, you can see her over here. We have a boxer pit, and she can get gassy. So this is one thing that we do quite a lot of, and we do it daily. So this is something that I supplement right on her. I'm a raw feeder, right on her raw food every day. So, and it's just a great balance. There's ginger in there as well. So nice form of like if they have a nervous stomach, if they're nauseous, that type of thing. And then there's agave inula. So this is an ingredient that is a great prebiotic. So like we hear of like chicory root is a really great example. The agave plant actually has the largest amount of inula than any other plant in the world. And that is where we're sourcing our prebiotic fiber from. So it is a wonderful source to help with that microflora in the stomach. And it's a non-digestible. So what happens is it doesn't sit in the small intestine. It goes actually right to the large intestine where it creates that really good, healthy microflora for the stomach. So this is a fantastic ingredient. You'll see that we have another product that we carry, the pumpkin latte that we were just chatting about. That one has it in there as well. So it's a really, really great prebiotic that works in those lower, the large intestine. So fantastic product. This is something you can use daily. Like I said, I use it on my dog's food daily, especially like I transitioned her from one raw to another. And I transitioned and I was like, okay, I have got to make sure that I'm really supporting her with a prebiotic. And this is something I put on the food every day.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna say I've seen that word before, and I just wanted to show people that
Yes.
that agave. It looks like it's spelled inulin, but
Yes. Yeah.
it's pronounced. How's it
Inulin.
pronounced?
It's agave inulin. Yep.
Inulin. Okay.
Yep. And
Yeah,
I may have
I had no
pronounced it wrong.
idea that that's what that was. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a prebiotic.
It's really cool. And that's it has like 38% like more it's the highest level of any kind of prebiotic found in something natural. It's fantastic. So it's got a very, very high level of inulin in it. Inulin, whatever, however you say it.
But,
There's so many words that I'm like, oh, like I am from Minnesota. We have this pronunciation. I say things and then people are like, what? What did she say?
I was gonna say, for those of you who are watching, if you have any questions about these products as we go through them, we can address your questions pretty much as is. So throw them up there if you have any questions.
Yep.
Were you ready to move on to the next one?
Ready to move on.
Okay. Urinary Berry.
So this one, this one is awesome. 2 ingredients. So it has cranberry and blueberry. So both Canada and US grown blueberries and cranberries. And the this product I love, love, love. I'm so thankful that I have not had to use this product on my pet. But people's pets who have like urinary tract issues, you know, that what the berries do is they kind of create a mucus lining in the urinary tract. And what it does is it allows so that bacteria doesn't stick in the bladder and in the urinary tract. So like when they get urinary infections like UTIs. And what it does is it causes like a slippery barrier, I guess, if you will, so that the bacteria is sliding out when your pet goes to the bathroom. So, all of that urinary infection and urinary tract stuff is due to bacteria that's kind of sitting in there and hanging out. And that is what the product is designed to do. So in berries, they're called PACs. And that is what they're found in cranberry and blueberry, things that are red and purple. And this is what gives them that color. But this is also something that actually helps design that kind of mucal lining so that the bacteria doesn't stick.
Now, do you know if this would help if a dog is prone to crystals or anything like that, or is it a completely different issue?
So crystals, we have had people use it for crystals. It just depends on why they're developing. So I had a store just recently ask me the same thing, and it's like, it depends on why the crystals are forming. It won't hurt to try. It is a very supportive product too. So if you have a pet that you know is prone to these things, it's really, really good you can use it as just, a preventative too. So if you have a cat or a dog that's getting, UTI, or they're getting crystals maybe, and you want to try to prevent that, it doesn't hurt to try the urinary berry for that.
I figured it was more of a preventative. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. If remember, if anybody has questions, y'all throw it into the comments. I'm watching.
Mm-hmm.
if you're ready to move on to the next one, we've got
Ready.
Joint Power.
Joint Power. Oh, this is one I could talk for days about. So the Joint Power is 100% green lip mussel. So this one is, there's so many things I could say about this amazing product. So
I actually don't know that much about the green lip mussel thing, but like I keep seeing it everywhere. So
yeah, so it's super cool. So we actually source these from New Zealand, and there's a couple different ways. So anytime that we're talking about supplements, you want to make sure that things aren't getting like heat processed very, like super high temperature. So just like your food is going to damage the integrity of what you're, feeding or supplementing. So these green lip mussels, the company that we source from has a really cool CO2 extraction process. So it's a patented process just for them. But green lip mussel, it lives in, so these are actually grown on ropes in their natural habitat. They feed on algae that's naturally occurring in the water. And we're only using the meat. So some companies will take the meat and the shell and they will grind them together. So we're only using the actual meat that's coming from the mussel. So they're very rich source of omega-3s. So this is the really important part. So when you look at omega-3s, they're kind of the building blocks of what we're talking about. But omega-3 fatty acids, so that's like the ALA, the DHA, ETA, like those are those acronyms that you're going to keep hearing. And the fatty acids help to provide anti-inflammatory properties. So that's why it's so effective for joint issues, is because those omega-3 fatty acids are actually working in that synovial fluid, and they're helping, and that connective tissue, they're really helping to reduce that inflammation through the omega-3s. So naturally there's occurring glucosamine and chondroitin. We don't have those levels on the bottom because really, yes, it's in there, but really how it's working is those omega-3 fatty acids. And that is how it is reducing that joint inflammation. The other cool thing is that the green lip mussel, it is a palate enhancer. So a lot of people who are struggling, I mean, this is on a very, basic level. If you have an older dog, a dog who is sick, just even putting green lip mussel on their food to get them to increase their appetite is something that is very effective as well. So this is a fantastic, fantastic product. But one of the things that I was looking at before we were talking is that in 1973, NASA, or NASA was looking for a cancer, like something for like a natural cancer cure. And what they found was in green lip mussel, they actually found all of these these omegas and the benefits of all of this fantastic stuff. So it's really interesting how it's so supportive. So it's full of, like I keep talking about the omegas, but there's also something called GAGs. So that's glucosaminoglycans is the long term. And so when we talk about GAGs, those are rich in helping to lubricate that synovial fluid, like so that lubricating of the fluid around, the joint. And when we see things like arthritis, right, or discomfort in an area, that synovial fluid is starting to reduce. And so through these glucosaminoglycans that are found in green lip mussel, they're actually really, really supportive to helping get that synovial fluid created and rebuilding that. So I don't know, I can't say enough amazing stuff about this product. We have it in the powder form. And then we also, for our Supersnouts hemp company, we put it in the joint, the hempen joint. And we have seen such amazing, amazing results from people adding green lip mussel into the food. And just remember, there's no heat put to this product. So that's a really key thing to note is you never want to choose something where they're putting, a heat process to that.
Megan had a question. She is asking, aren't they high in taurine too?
They are. So there's tons of like magnesium, taurine, there are tons. So it's when you look at the powder itself, it's 50 to 60% protein. So it's a fantastic source of taurine. So if someone is looking to add additional taurine onto their cat or dog's diet, it is a great source for that. So great source of minerals and vitamins. But yes, 50 to 60% protein is what is in the is greenlet mussels are in the container. So it's a fantastic source. If somebody is like, I don't want to keep putting on, maybe they forgot if they're trying to put some fresh fruit on the diet. It's a really easy way just to sprinkle some powder on the food.
So you brought up something that I forgot to ask. Are all of these good for cats as well?
Yeah, there's one, let's see here. I'm trying to think. These are all good for cats. Yes. I feel like there's one that I may have an ingredient in that might not. Urinary Berry, Joint Power, and Shrooms are good. I'm uncertain about the GI balance.
It says dogs and cats on that one.
Perfect. Yep. Then I don't know which one I'm thinking of. I thought there was an ingredient in one of them. You just had to be careful. You could still do it.
The Super Shrooms doesn't specifically say dogs and cats on it, so I guess that's the one.
Yeah, that might be the one where you want to. You can give cats mushrooms. There's no reason why you can't. But
it says right there in little letters, dogs and cats only.
Yep.
It just doesn't have it on the front.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, cool. Like I said, with anything and all the dosing of all of this, the one thing that you can do for, it's really the shrooms, but you can do it for the joint power is you can kind of dose up at the beginning. So you can dose a little bit higher so that you're kind of doing that initial loading into your pet's system so that doesn't hurt. These aren't something that your pet's going to overdose on, like they would if they got into like a prescription drug or chocolate or something of that nature. They're not going to overdose on these. Again, if your cat, dog, whatever eats the entire container, you do want to, if you want to take them to the vet, that's probably the best thing. We had someone's dog eat a whole super shroom container, and the dog was super energetic because it has chaga mushroom in there, and that's an energy mushroom. So the dog was pretty hyper, but besides that, the dog was okay.
Well, since we already started talking about it, let's get to super shrooms. I'm really excited to hear about this one because I don't know that much about medicinal mushrooms, but I always hear about it for people and pets. So
yes. So I can't decide. I feel like this is my favorite product. The super shrooms are fantastic. I'm actually starting to take these myself because remember, as I said, everything is a nutraceutical grade product that we're putting out. So I'm starting to take this one myself. So this one has it's a blend of 7 organic medicinal mushrooms. This is, you kind of, when you smell it, it kind of smells like cocoa a little bit. I don't know why. There's no chocolate in it, but it definitely has like a really not offensive aroma, I would say. So super shrooms. So can I talk a little bit about how the mushrooms are grown? Because it's so fascinating.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So we are sourcing these mushrooms from the Pacific Northwest region in the US. And what they do is this product actually, so to grow mushrooms, they need fiber. That's how they feed. They feed on fiber. And so things like oats, rice, wood, right? And so where we're having these manufactured, so they purchase organic brown rice. And what they do is they cook the brown rice and then they stick it into, it's like an autoclave that actually like sanitizes the entire, the entire grains of rice. And at the other end, they're putting it into kind of like a giant pillowcase bag. this is like so fascinating to me. I was like, this is unbelievable. And so what they do is they put it into these giant pillowcase type bags, and it's all sterilized at this point. And then they go and move it into this inoculation room. And so with a different strains, they're inoculating these rice bags. And so the mushrooms are feeding off of the rice, and they start to grow and get nutrients from this organic brown rice. So it's very interesting because the longer that the mushroom, so our mushrooms grow 6 weeks. So some companies will cut them at a couple weeks. So sometimes people will look at our mushrooms and be like, why are they so dark? Like your mushrooms are so dark compared to other mushrooms that I've seen or fed to my pet. And that is because we are letting them, the grower is actually letting them grow to the brink of starvation. And so what happens is then it's like there is barely any rice left in the bag. And we are using all of that that's left in the bag and then the fruiting bodies that are on top. So it creates a more potent and a more balanced mushroom blend. And so that is how they grow it. And so in that process, once they take, the fruiting bodies and the rest of the remains, like I would say the roots, they put steam, pressure steam. And what that does is that releases the beta glucans. And that is the magical thing about mushrooms is the beta glucans. So you have, like, if you went to the store and bought a mushroom, right? Like you and I don't know, we found some, let's say, I don't know, turkey tail out in the wild. Let's just say that. For us, if we ate that, you have to have the beta glucans released for it to benefit you. And so you have to put that steam, you have to put that pressurized steam to actually break down that, the cellular walls so that it's releasing those beta glucans. And so that your body can essentially use them and absorb them. So it's not like you can just go to the store and give your dog mushrooms, and they're going to be they're going to get the same benefit, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So the beta glucans are known for immune support. So mushrooms are immunomodulators. So what that means is if you think about a dog or a cat or human who has a suppressed immune system, right? So their immune system is underactive. Mushrooms will actually bring that immune system back into balance. If you have a dog that has an overactive immune system, so think of like skin issues, like skin disorders or allergies, anxiety is a great one. The mushrooms will actually help bring that pet's immune system down and back into balance. So they're like anything else. They're truly magical mushrooms. So there's a lot of things that they do. So they fight inflammation. That is really, really one of the biggest things that they help with. But regulating that immune system is really, really what mushrooms are designed for. And you'll hear a lot about tumor cell growth in mushrooms. So you'll hear a lot of people who may be administering mushrooms to their pet for maybe it's a supportive piece that can go into any kind of cancer treatment. So it's a fantastic thing to be adding if you have a pet that is going through, cancer treatments. It's a really, really supportive thing to be adding into their diet.
Ollie has a question, and I think we kind of touched on it, but would this help with allergies?
Yes. So yes. You see my boxer pit up here, and I used the immune support that has the CBD in it as well. And I'll just show it really quick.
Right, Ollie, if you do see the CBD, they have, so that is the CBD chews mixed with the super shroom. So it's like a 2-in-1 kind of
It is like a 2-in-1. I was giving her the immune support, and she always gets super bloody red eyes, and she gets super itchy. She'll always itch the skin off around her neck, specifically in the springtime. And I started administering that about a month and a half before it usually starts to happen. And we did not have any of those issues this year. So it was really fantastic for that kind of itchy, runny eyes, like just all of those allergy type things. That is what I use this spring for my dog. So yes, will definitely help with some allergy issues.
Ollie, I would probably say I would try the immune support with the CBD, because the CBD helps with inflammation as well.
Yes.
So I would definitely give that a try. That's probably the best thing we have right now to fight allergies in a natural way for the dogs. So
yep,
it's my go-to.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions? That was a really good question. So Megan says our Havanese has seasonal allergies and the Super Shrooms really helps him. So she uses it.
That is fantastic. Yeah, that is really, I think, when we look at the one that has hemp, it says immune support. Most people are like, well, why do I want to support my pet's immune system? But really, once you realize how amazing these mushrooms are, and mushrooms can be to putting in your own diet as well as your pets, that is when you start to notice the difference, where you're like, okay, this really does do something with the immunomodulator, where it's helping them balance out their system and kind of get back to that middle ground where they're not itching miserably. So they're fantastic.
Well, and I was going to say allergies it's inflammation itself.
That is correct. Yep.
So the mushrooms help with inflammation, and if you're doing the CBD helps with inflammation. So it hits it from all sides, kind of thing.
Yes.
I was just curious if you're using the mushroom, because I've heard about mushrooms for people too.
Yes.
How do you take it? Because I don't know if it would taste that great. Do you put it in a smoothie? What do you do?
Yeah. So I'm putting it in a smoothie. Our general manager, she puts it in her coffee, which I think little, she said it does leave little like residual flakes, but I put it in a smoothie, so it's kind of just has a little cocoa taste, but I put so many blueberries in that everything's masked by blueberry. So that's what I've been putting them in, and I just started like the middle of last week doing it, so I'll let you know how it goes. But
nice.
Just for that kind of extra immune support for myself right now, with everything that we have going on with the virus and such. So
that's a great idea. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So this one also too, you can double dose this one for the first 10 days. So again, that loading phase. So I can't remember the lady who just called in, or Megan. So if your pet is suffering from allergies right now, you're kind of in the heat of it, essentially. You can double dose and get that into the system a lot quicker, and hopefully start to see some results faster than you would by just normal dosing on that.
Or Ollie, that he's the one with 2 dogs that have really bad skin allergies. So
yeah. I actually have a store in the Chicagoland area, and she used going back to the immune support. She used that for her dog because what he was doing was scraping his back on their coffee table, and his allergies were so that it was like a bloody scab. Because I was like, you have to like, this is a great testimonial, but she was like, it's really graphic. And I was like, but he has grown hair back, which is amazing. And she said that was within like, I think 2.5, 3 months that he's actually grown his hair back, and it's healed.
That's amazing.
Yeah, mushrooms have some absolutely amazing properties.
Well, for those of you that are watching, remember, throw some questions if you have any. Yeah, and if you're watching this in replay, or if you're watching it on YouTube where I cannot see your comments, you can reach out to me at info@odysseypets.com, through the Odyssey Pets Facebook page, or through our website, odysseypets.com. If people wanted to contact Supersnouts directly or find out more information, what's y'all's website?
So if they do, you put me on the spot. Gosh, I don't know. I think it's an info@. They can just reach out to me too, and I can help them. It's just Tammy@diggingyourdog.com. Anyone can send me a message. I'll reply to anything. Just well, almost anything. So yeah, I think we have an info at. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'll look on a jar.
Is the website diggingyourdog.com?
So yes, diggingyourdog.com. Yep. So no G on the end of that.
Right.
And I should know something as basic as if like we have an info at, but I'm so sorry I don't.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. So I was going to say this too. If y'all,
I'm going on the website right now.
If any of you guys are local to Odyssey, all of these supplements we just talked about are on sale 20% off for our What's Up with Supplements month. We've got some other great deals happening too on some other stuff. And next Tuesday, I'm going to interview Sarah with Herbsmith. So that should be really interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know that much about Herbsmith, so I'm excited.
Chinese herbs are a very powerful thing. Very cool.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep. Awesome.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. I hope this was super helpful, and so your viewers watching learned something. And
a couple people already commented that this was very informative. So yeah, I really enjoy spreading knowledge and education about how to better our pets, and in this case, we could use it for ourselves. So
no, and it's fantastic. And just people who are watching, continue to support your local pet store. These guys definitely do the best job. They're so informational and full of education that we really, as communities, need to just continue to keep supporting your local independent pet. So
that's exactly that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say, shop small, y'all, and stay safe. So thank you so much for y'all watching, and thank you, Tammy. We'll catch you next time. I'm sure we'll have another talk in the future at some point. So
that sounds great. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Take care.